on Food Cup 7. The winner of this plays Dark in the grand finals. So we got a TVZ followed by either a TVZ or a ZvT. Dark and Rogue actually played in Kung Fu Cup number 5 finals, and they were some really good games actually. I'd highly advise you check that out. They were a couple weeks ago. I guess VODs aren't on YouTube yet, but you can definitely still find the stream. I think I cast that when I was in New York actually. There were some crazy games. Crazy games. When's the GSL? GSL Renovate was today. GSL Renovate Day 2 is on Saturday, I guess. And then semis, then finals. Wow, GSL is passing so quickly. Can't believe it's already our second GSL season of the year. This season of GSL passed real quick. I feel like we just haven't had any GSL downtime. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. It feels crazy. Passed super quickly. Couple drones popping out here from Rogue. Getting going now into game number 1 of this best of 3 TVZ. Starting the matchup on Lost and Found. As you do just see this overload coming in across down towards the bottom left hand side. Obviously a command center coming in from Ryung and Reaper 2. No real reason to expect anything too crazy from this just yet as we get going. I mean, pretty standard builds, fairly common to see. So let's see what happens. I started playing Zerg as a kid because I like the noises they made in StarCraft 1 as live morph. It's a cool story at least. I started playing Terran because when I played Zerg, I thought it was really stupid that it cost a drone to make a building. I was like, well, how am I ever going to have any drones if it costs a drone to make a building? I tried to play Protoss and it's like, you can't build anything anywhere. Like, I didn't understand. All I could make was pylons. I wanted to build my pylon, behind my mineral line. Tried to build my gateway at the front, it didn't work. Fucking bullshit. So I stuck to Terran. I was pretty dumb when I started playing StarCraft, so I can tell you that much. It was some good times. I stuck to Terran pretty hardcore. I don't know. I just started with some T8 Terran and led from there. Couple of command centers on the way up here from Ryung. Single gas expansion into the follow-up of a single gas fitted base. So really just getting the command centers up nice and quickly here and getting things going. As we see, Pneumatized Carapace is currently on the way out from Rogue. And Speed is currently on the way up as well. A couple drones going to be popping on out. A few more drones starting up from Rogue as well. And the Queen also coming through in the next couple of moments. And again, just sort of seeing how this game will be developing. I don't know how Ryung's really playing TVZ lately. I haven't really watched a lot of Ryung play TVZ. I feel like the last time I saw him he was playing a lot of mech, which is obviously still somewhat viable. Although since mech was a big thing, we definitely saw the resurgence of Ghost Liberator. Time will tell. I mean, actually very soon if he is going to be playing mech, a 3rd and 4th gas might be on his in his interests. So we'll be able to see very shortly what the plan is. For now, it's that Cloakless Banshee. We already saw this once today. Out of Gumiho, I want to say? What TVZ did we cast earlier? Dark versus Gumiho, yeah, he went 3CC Cloakless Banshee. Exactly like this. The only difference was, Ryung actually didn't go for Viking first, and Gumiho did, so it's actually kind of interesting. It's a similar sort of style of build from what we saw from a different Terran player against a different Zerg earlier, and with the double gas now on the natural expansion, it is indeed going to confirm that this is going to be mech play. So Ryung going to be playing some mech, and we'll see what Rogue's response to that will be. I really feel like Rogue's had a lot of success against mech, though. Ever since mech became a big thing in TVZ again, Rogue's always been one player who I look at and I'm like, well, this guy's never afraid to play against mech. He's never unsuccessful against mech. As we do see these couple of Hellions. Excuse me for a moment. Sorry, got a bit of a lingering cold. A couple of Hellions is backing away. The Banshee comes across the map. Yes, it's mostly designed to be defensive. That's why it's cloakless. But hey, if nothing's coming your way, you may as well try and poke around to get some information to maybe catch a unit or two as they're already, in a more forward position. No harm done there. Lings continue to chase those Hellions, and, well, the Hellions able to get behind the other couple, so for now, so far, so good. Rogue's also opening with Pneumatized Carapace, so Very similar to what Dark was doing too. We'll see if he extends that to the point where he also goes for like an all-in Froachling Queen with the Dropper Lords, but it doesn't look like it. He's already got 50 workers now. So he's already got 52 workers and counting. So it looks as though Rogue is just looking to play the macro style, going straight in towards a Roach speed. Hasn't upgraded with the left finisher. And a couple of evolution chambers currently on the way down from Rogue as well. As Banshee of Ryung is heading down towards the bottom left-hand side. It's happy with how things have gone so far. Didn't really do any damage, but also there's been nothing coming his way, which, you know, for Ryung is all he really wants. He doesn't want to die while his free base economy, which he's invested into super early, gets built up and established. We see a few Hellions and a couple of Cyclones moving forwards now. With obviously an Armory in play, this is going to start being a little bit scarier perhaps for our Zerg player. We'll see what Rogue's going to do. I mean, he has been building Roaches for a little while now though, so it's not going to be so bad. You have just creep spread being cleaned out right now. The power of that Raven coming in and showing. Raven's great. I mean, not only do the anti-armor missiles do a lot, the auto turrets can work out, but just straight up the fact you can clear creep so easily with it. Banshee getting some work done now as well. Might go down if he doesn't pull it away from the Queens. Wow, pulls it away right at the last second. One more hit and it is dead, so really saving that Banshee at the last possible moment. Some Lings do run by, but there's Hellions waiting for them, so the Lings will go down very quickly. Lings are dropped. And well, Ryung continues to gather up between his natural and the third base. Let's see what's next. Cyclones locking onto that Overseer as it gets chased up the left-hand side. More Roaches from Rogue coming along as well. A couple of Changelings will drop on down. 1-1 missile upgrades coming through here. Two more factories started over from Ryung as we do see this barracks moving away from the reactor. It will drop down in just a moment as well. Lots of Roaches from Rogue right now. As we do see. Again, a good amount of Hellions and a Raven here from Ryung. Hanging out over the right-hand side, this Overseer from Rogue is still moving around too. 12 Swarm Hosts on the way up, and this is a very Rogue-esque way of dealing with the mech play to play the Swarm Hosts. Honestly, I feel like Swarm Hosts have gotten worse and worse lately. People figure out how to play against them, you know, the Hellback count gets good. People have just realized, like, hey, you know, honestly, to kind of deal with this, you know, I can kind of see how to deal with this, you know? I see these few Hellions coming forwards, and they will push back those Swarm Hosts initially here. So Swarm Host being pushed away, and there's Raven coming forwards as well. And you're ready to potentially drop down in. Anti-armor missile or something. Swarm Hosts have not used their Locusts yet, and, well, rightfully so, didn't need to in the end, and now he can bring them forwards and get his first little wave of Swarm Host Locusts. Being somewhat effective. Pops half of them here to force the lift back up. Will then continue pushing with the Locusts he's already set out. The Roach on the left side goes down pretty quickly to the sieged up tanks, and again, so far actually Ryung, he did a good job because now these Swarm Host Locusts are out of sync. He actually dealt with them pretty well so far. As a few of them drop down here, how much damage will they do? Maybe a siege tank kill, that's what he's going to die for. That is onto their siege tank in the back. So, one tank kill, that's all. Not super efficient or anything, but it's a good start from Ryung. You know, a good defense. He forced those Locusts to pop out initially as well, out of position. So, he really kind of had something to kind of, you know, he had, you know, credit is due for him here. He forced that, you know, ineffective Swarm Host play. Couple of these Vikings going to come down to the south side. As they come down to the south, we're going to be seeing this Overlord is going to be getting taken down as well. So this Overlord picked off here, and we are going to be seeing Roaches, Swarm Hosts splitting themselves away. Single Banshee is working his way through as well against this Swarm Host, so a little bit more damage being done. As you see the Locusts dropping over to the other side of this here. Again, a good amount of siege tanks and good damage being done. Hellbats cleaning up so many of these Locusts. Cleaned up right there, some tanks and sieging. We do just have this Banshee of Ryung is going to be coming back towards the bottom left hand side too. 6 Ravagers start to morph in right here. I'm just going to be seeing some Roaches and these Swarm Hosts continue to gather together. Again, a few Hellions able to come on in and get themselves a Changeling kill, so that's nicely done too. And a couple of these medevacs with 4s inside are going to come around over towards the right hand side. Roach is still pushing forwards, and they're going to be taking some damage at the moment. Thundering Fortress is actually well positioned to make sure he doesn't have to deal with too much at the same time. Wow. 4 splash damage actually deals with a lot of those locusts before they even land. Blue Flame's not here yet, but it will be for the next wave of a Swarm Host Locust, and that's going to be massively important, because again, that's going to be a big part of being able to deal with this now. Do you see Hellions wolfing into Hellbats, a couple of Cyclones into the front. There's the bars coming down. We are going to be seeing again this little bit of a back and forth at the moment. The Roaches and Ravagers in the end deciding that they can't really commit forwards there. Overlord killed off, is pushing in. Ryung is cleaning out some creep spread as well. Still has this Raven from earlier in the game, so that's still looking good for him as we can see these Roaches to try and help the Ravagers survive, to drop some corrosive bars. Nothing really connected all so far. As we are just going to be seeing the Locusts now come in. As the Locusts tank the tank shots, that's the chance for the Roaches and Ravagers to really commit. Gets a couple of the 4s low, doesn't get any kills, but Rogue is still delaying Ryung. He's stopping Ryung from continuing to just march forwards into the aggressive position that's going to make life very, very difficult. Creep starting to go down, as corrosive bars will drop. A few Hellbats taking some damage once again. Double Spire from Rogue as he follows up from this now. As we're going to be seeing him still looking to try and take a fight here. He's going to commit for a little bit longer. Corrosive bars landing for the most part. Yeah, not really killing anything though. A couple of those 4s are super low. I mean, they're on 21 health and 11 health. For 4, that's like nothing. So it really has to be a little bit careful right now. There's no SCVs or anything to repair these up right here. But there is... actually, sorry, there is a few SCVs repairing them. I was like, there isn't any SCVs to repair them because I can see it, and I was like, but how are the 4s gaining health? It was an interesting question. I was like, huh? I was like, did they bring the repair drone back? Nope, just Wardy being a little bit silly. Anyways, Ravagers dropping in once again with a few corrosive vials. Why are all those Swarm Hosts sat up here still just on cooldown, waiting to get going once again? Couple corrosive vials dropping once more again, trying to delay our Terran player. We're going to see more Roaches being built as a way to continue fighting this army as well. Not the most efficient units, but apparently it's what Rogue wants to be able to deal with this at the moment, as you see Vikings to the right hand side. While they get rid of a creep team here to begin with, we are going to be seeing a couple of Roaches getting picked off too. A set of Locusts popping up into the skies, and they are going to drop down right now. On top of that 4, see another couple of Hellions getting taken away. Siege tank goes down too. Locusts finding a bit more value than I feel they've had previously. Love this big Roach counter attack. I mean, there's a few units back at home, but there isn't a ton of units, right? So this definitely feels as though there's some potential for damage. You kill off these tanks especially, there's going to be some SCVs open for kills on the third base, the natural, which are only orbitals. A lot of Vikings still in the skies. Tanks now in range of the third base of our Zerg player. Ravagers and Roaches trying to come forwards over here. These Roaches, they're going to get rid of the Hellbats in the end. There's not many left, but it's enough to kill off a few SCVs. So you will still get a couple of those kills in the next few moments. Queen's actually going to find themselves a medevac kill. Gets the 4 and the medevac. Second medevac alive for the moment still. Again, I don't know why this third base had so few SCVs on it in the first place. Maybe he actually pulled them into the fight while we were distracted over here, and they went down because of that. Actually is a real possibility. You're going to see Locusts dropping down once again on top of these tanks and 4s. Hellbat count really isn't here anymore, so the Locusts go down very slowly. Eventually they do still drop. Let's see an anti-armor missile going down on a Roach. Great split away by Rogue, though. Having some really good splits against anti-armor missiles today. That's the second one we've seen in today's game. It's splitting away just as soon as it comes down. Very well done. Well, again, a couple of tanks are pushing forwards, a couple of 4s. The Vikings are up in the sky too. See what else they can get up to here. As you see a couple of Roaches have unburrowed and they're starting to do some more damage. Do not burrow again once in time. Maybe because he has these 2 Roaches here still, and so if he burrows, he knows the scan's going to come down. Whereas if he just, gets those Roaches going again, he might still get some more damage before then burrowing those and forcing the scan too. So a few possibilities as to why that is. As you see, man, Rogue is still in trouble though. This base is actually going to fall to those Cyclones. It just goes down in the end. Right hand side base is just about alive. We do see Locust about to drop on in. He's taking so much damage in the meantime though. 4s, I guess left over up as well. The 4 splash damage was good, the Viking damage was good, and again, not many Locusts landed in the end. Cyclones, Vikings, but again, this 1 HP 4 still pushing forwards at the moment, finally goes down. A few Roaches still trying to hold on. This is an epic defense by Rogue. It's been non-stop for multiple minutes now as he's been counter-attacking and all sorts to stay in this game. Roaches chase, they find themselves a Cyclone. They're rewarded for their presence on the map. And will he continue across here to try and again deny third base? Again, 4th base kind of out of bounds with that fleeing Atlantic Fortress here. As Roaches go down again, no use of the burrow just yet. There's no missile turret or anything over on that 3rd base like there is on this top side, so definitely could have done something with it. And maybe just not realizing he has it, or maybe just doesn't feel the need to. Locust going to push forwards themselves. Again, there's only now 3 Vikings in position. There's actually a few more to the right side. A couple of Hellbats, but not too many. Here we go, dropping on down, seeing what he can do. A couple of tanks already falling. He actually goes for a second tank kill as well, rather than the Hellions. Or the Hellbats, I should say. I like it. Honestly, it makes a lot of sense. See those Roach and Ravagers trying to push forwards too so far. Much success of their own. 4 more Hellions on the way up, and we are still going to be seeing just a few more units coming out every now and then. Rogue and Ryung going at it in game number 1 of this best of 3 semi-final. Kung Fu Cup has a lot of prize money on the line, $500, so already guaranteed $50 each for being in the semi-finals. Grand Finals doubles your money right away, $100 for second place, $300 for first place if you can take down Dark once you get there. Locust coming in, and I'm going to get a couple on a tank on the right side. That was probably the most effective Locust. The rest of them, they don't even kill a Hellbat here. They do trap a 4 in, but they actually get the kill. Just about. Man, they were really not just out of time, but out of health. They got killed just moments afterwards. Hydra chasing them around. Let's see, +2 fly characters currently on the way up here, still from Rogue, with a +2 attack as well. It's funny because we haven't really seen any flying units just yet in the game. I imagine he's afraid of potentially an air transition from Ryung. He just wants to make sure that Corruptors are going to be effective if he needs them to be, or Mutila's Switch. There's a possibility as well, but honestly at this stage Ryung is making enough anti-air, enough 4s every single time. I think switching into Mutilas is not really an option. So it's interesting though, still see those coming through. Going to see Roaches and Hydras coming forwards right now, going to work their way through this set of rocks. Out in the center, Rogue still has a group of Swarm Hosts on the left side. I think what's really impressive is that Rogue has only lost Roaches. He's lost 1 Swarm Host this entire game. Otherwise, he's just been trading Roaches. And yes, he lost a lot of Roaches. Enough to make this game pretty much equal in terms of resources lost. Keeping the Swarm Hosts alive this long is very impressive, though. It's a lot of Roach Hydra. A little bit out of position here initially, Ryung, as we're going to be seeing a couple of tanks going down the front. Nice anti-armor missiles, but there's no follow-up. Doesn't have the mobility to truly chase that down. Here come the Swarm Hosts. The Locust starting to fly on forwards. The majority of this Terran army still feels as though it's kind of busy over here. Refresh off the anti-armor missile. And here you go, the Locusts drop down. They do get surround on a 4. I mean, 4s against Locusts obviously on an amazing trade. There's enough 4s that it's alright in the end. Still just loses 1. But doesn't let it get out of control. Rogue, though, I think one thing that is out of control is his number of bases. He's on 5, 6, soon to be 7 bases. And with that economy, he has built up one hell of a bank. And it's that bank which is allowing him to just keep rebuilding here. Ryung is obviously on the 4 base, trying to establish a 5th, but with an orbital command, it's not going to be super pretty. And honestly, even just a set of Locusts there can be so frustrating just to deny that mining. And so Rogue is able to stay on what is honestly a fairly low to mid-tier tech comp, you know, mostly Roaches and Ravagers with the Swarm Host mixed in. But he's able to get away with it because, hey, you know, he's on this position where he's in this position where he's got the money, he's got the bank. These units are cheap and easy to replace. He's going to come in without the Hellbat Locust again, I'm surprised. It's almost actually heading down the south side where there is some Hellbats and tanks ready to go. Seen though with a scan, so he is going to be able to unsiege the tanks. The Sense Tower obviously helping him to know when to scan there. Locust dropping in, but again the Hellbats with Blue Flame just do too much and he doesn't lose anything. I think maybe he actually lost 1 Hellbat, but he didn't lose any tanks, which is obviously important. Roaches and Hydras over here do get a few more SCVs, which is nicely done, but again it's expensive. It costs quite a few Roaches. Viper's now being brought into play. It's something we haven't really seen just yet out of Rogue, so definitely the possibility of changing this game up a little bit with this Roach play. With this Viper play. Start abducting a couple of units forwards, even just blinding Cloud, and every now and then can obviously go a long way to helping out. Yeah, and a couple of 4s and a couple of Hellbats pushing these units away. Tanks seeking up from a distance, doing some damage as well. As you see, these Locusts are about to drop down. As these Locusts drop down, they're going to be able to get themselves 1 tank, 1 4 kill again. And that's the power of those Swarm Hosts. When you don't lose any of them throughout the game and you're killing a 4 or a tank every time, even if it is just 1, for so many Locusts, it's still value, you know, it's still a great trade. Well, maxed out Ryung is still ready to fight Rogues. Lost a lot of his gas bank. He hasn't got a massive gas bank any longer. Just because he's built kind of, you know, a few Vipers and just mixed it up a little bit, he's definitely teched up slightly. As you see, those Roach and Hiders backing away. A tank shot goes off. And the scan comes down. Roach and Hiders going to move forwards again. A couple of Hellbats will start a fall here. Little bits of damage being done. Vikings and Cyclones still in play. Those Locusts going to come down. Big Blinding Clouds as well. Wow, beautiful Blinding Clouds. Suddenly those Locusts survive a lot longer. For the first time in this game, these Locusts have survived more than just a couple of seconds, more than just one unit kill, and they are going to make the most of it. Vikings land to help out, but 29 Roaches on the rebuild. The fact he still has the Swarm Host, he still has... actually, he doesn't have the Vipers anymore. He did lose those, but man, those Blinding Clouds were worth it. Value all over the place there as... well, Rogue, again, because he has the economy, because he has the bank, that's going to allow him to rebuild and maybe now deal with this army. He needs the wave of the Locust, though. Can't go in this with purely Roaches. He needs the Locust to tank. And to then, you know, bring the Roaches in with them at the same time. So let's see if it works out. Right now, Mass Hellion on the production tab for Ryung because he doesn't have the gas to rebuild with. Because he's been kept to just the same 4 bases he's had all game. Here we go, the Locusts are dropping down, and again, there's no real kind of Hellbats or anything here. The Roaches fight from the top side, and the 4 number is decreasing, albeit very, very slowly still. It's still going down. It's now 6 4s, 35 more Roaches in production again. Because again, he just needs everything he can get through, everything he can into this. We're going to be seeing those couple of Vikings, the 4s, working their way through this hatchery. A little bit more damage being done here. This hatchery will fall. It should fall. Rogue taking down a base, and well, a base up here that's ripe for the picking. If he rotates around, there's a lot of bases he could get rid of. The issue is by the time he's done all of that, this hatch is back up here, and well, Rogue's not going to let it happen either. He's going to take not just the fight, but he can counter-attack too. Here come the Locusts, trooping on in, and the last army of Ryung is going to fall. 22-minute back and forth epic. See what's going to happen. To the top left-hand side, down again, is our Red Terran player. This is Ryung. Going up against the Blue Zerg, bottom right. 1-0 up in the series, it is Rogue. What's up, it's me, PGP. Welcome back to the Wardy family. How you doing? Thank you so much for that Twitch Prime sub. Do appreciate it. Some love in the chat, guys. So it's me. Yeah, right now we mostly give the replay packs out through Discord, but if you are a sub and you don't use Discord, you can just message me. I do send them out on the Twitch email, on the sub email as well, usually too. But a lot of people don't get the sub emails anymore because they have certain settings closed off, and Twitch it's kind of a mess because they removed the inbox system on Twitch. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit silly, I'm not gonna lie. It's a little bit silly. Anyways, going to game number 2, the best of 3, and really just sort of sit here to see what's going to be happening. Game 2 so far is looking nice and standard. I mean, obviously game number 1 was pretty standard too. Got into that quite an epic kind of TVZ back and I'd like to say back and forth a little bit. I feel like Ryung, you know, Ryung had a push going, he had an attack going. I feel as though Ryung did a pretty good job of trading well against the Locust consistently. He just didn't get enough bases up. That was his biggest issue. He didn't get his 5th base, and without a 5th base, he really ran into trouble. So, you're going to see this Reaper coming down towards the bottom right-hand side. I'd like to see what's going on. Is there any chance of getting the replays from this tournament? Yes, subscriber replays will include this one. We're going to be sending out probably today after the stream, as well as the ones from Kung Fu Cup 6. So, yes, these replays will be available. Drone taking some hits, and some Lings are coming in and fighting against their Reapers. Reapers a little bit cautious here. A few more Lings coming through, and again, Reaper just a little bit back and forth for the moment. In the end, decides to back away just slightly. As you see, that command center of Ryung is going to be finishing up on the natural expansion here as well. Very, very soon. Factory drops to the reactor, and again, this time it's very different because there's no fast free CC. This time it is double gas down. Starport is building. This game is much more about, well, fighting something aggressive early to slow the Zerg player from droning up massively, etc. Rather than, you know, in the last game where he really was happy to sit back and not do too much because he had a triple CC so quickly in the game. It's nice, finds the drone and is able to push it back just a little bit longer here. And is able to just, again, slows down the hatchery just a moment or two more. And was very nearly able to do it once more, but was just a split second too late. Just couldn't quite find his way in there again in time. Going around to the front of the natural here. A couple of Hellions and the Reaper just going to poke away at the Queen and do what it can. She gets it down to half health, but shouldn't really be a massive issue. It's nice if you can force a transfuse early, though, because the earlier you get a transfuse into the game, well, the less creep spread, etc. is going to be on the map for you to deal with later. So, you know, it's still nice to poke away if you can, and honestly, it doesn't take much damage. Well, it's about must have taken 2 hits on the Hellion, and obviously the Reaper's able to regenerate. So, you know, it's nice to try that from Ryung. There's Viking coming out now, and he will start to hunt down this Overlord. Overlord, sweet or not, this one is kind of a goner. Overlord picked away at, and in the end does fall. Medevac coming up with the armory too. Is looking as though it's going to be Hellbats to try and bring Ryung into a decent position while heading in towards his third base. Trying to fight the Queens again, but so far unsuccessfully. As we're going to be seeing another one coming in and joining from the natural for the moment. So another Queen comes and joins up. Raven currently on the way out from Ryung. And we are going to be seeing the armory on its way down too. Hellions going to move on over to the right hand side. With the Reaper included, it's going to be feelings to try and come forwards, but you get burned pretty quickly. And again, the thing is for Ryung, he doesn't really want to lose too many of his Hellions, even if he's hellbatting, because he is, well, you know, he's still kind of got to be a bit afraid of a counter. 10 roaches on the way. Hellbats do get into position over here. Ryung's a little bit slow to hit the third base at the same time. I mean, at the same time, Rogue's already evacuated this base apparently, so that's not an issue. Roach is fighting, and with the Queens too, it'll be a pretty quick cleanup, honestly. Don't even get a single drone there in the end. These Hellions, they don't get much either because, well, again, Roach is at the front. There's no way for them to truly dive the natural. The third base wasn't mining. But he has stopped the third base from mining, so that is something. That's why I look at this. Rogue, is he actually just going to do what Dark did earlier? He actually is. He's just going to pop the Overlord speed with the Overlord drop with the Pneumatized Carapace, and so here we go. Pushing across the map, Rogue is just going to serve the same little free base all in that we saw out of Dark against Gumiho 2 games in a row. Maybe this is just flavor of the month right now in terms of TVZ. I mean, honestly, after killing off those initial waves of Hellbats, it kind of feels pretty good for our Zerg as he approaches. Obviously, there won't be a massive number of units, although 2 Cyclones surrounded by Hellbats is still pretty good. Thanks for Ravager coming in. Bars will be important here. As well as Queens, able to push away the Banshee, the Raven maybe, the Viking. Straight up DPS from Queens too, transfusions. It all is going to add up here as we're going to be seeing well. Picking away at distance right now. The Deep was the first targets here for Rogue. There's no tech lab on a factory, so he's actually just building a couple of Cyclones at the moment to try and hold this off. And the Queens are here, so as a Banshee does come into play, the Queen's not going to be a massive deal. You're going to be seeing the first cross of bars coming down. The anti-armor missile was good. The Cyclones are starting to get work done, but SCV's already down. The Hellbats are going to be dropping very quickly too, and it looks as though Rogue maybe just has about enough to kind of push on through this. A few Roaches coming in the front to try and protect against the Cyclones a little bit further. And we have a couple of Queens still here too. The Cyclones starting to drop, especially if the Ling's starting to surround. One of the low health Cyclones falls as well. There's still a couple of workers in this natural middle line that Rogue decides to commit to now, rather than going too much further up that ramp. Turns and fights whenever his opponent tries to come down the ramp, but if his opponent is up the ramp, he's not going to chase that. You're going to see these SCVs trying to surround the Cyclones, but they don't quite make it. One Cyclone topside goes down. Banshee's going to start taking some hits from the Queens as well, though Queens surrounded. They're starting to drop too, so there's now going to be no anti-air, so eventually the Banshee will get a clean up here. Tries to cross a bar down this ramp. Again, no anti-air left over. The Queens are dead. So well as this Ravager falls, this is going to be a hold from Ryung, but a hold in what sort of position? I mean, he's down 25 workers-ish. Give or take, depending on the point in time. 25 workers. He's got no tech to fall back on. His production's non-existent. He only has 1 factory. Rogue is just too good of a position at the moment. Too good of a position. Cyclones firing away at that Overlord. It will fall. Overlord down, and well, at this point, again, what do you really do as Ryung? 30 worker deficit. Rogue's making a Spire, which I kind of like as well. You know, went ahead. A Spire is actually a really good way to close out the game. Because unless your opponent scouts it and hard counters your Spire, well, you know, you're just going to have that surprise factor. They're going to do some damage. It's, yeah, it's kind of, in the end, that's kind of okay. Ling is though dropping in, it's kind of okay. Ling's dropping into the main base. Rogue's going to get some more damage done, continue expanding his lead, and Ryung, as he pushes across the map, kind of feels like this is just about going to be it. Extra Ravage is going to finish morphing in. They're going to get themselves a couple of Cyclone kills here and there. At least pushed a couple of Cyclones back here and there. But, well, I mean, all he has to do is bring up the SCVs. There's no repairs. Reinforcements will do the rest. Things across the map are doing so much damage, and Rogue is going to take Ryung down. 2-0. Rogue with the line. And he is going to be out of here in just a moment or two. GG. Rogue takes game number 2 in the series to make his way to his second Kung Fu Cup finals, if I'm not mistaken. And he's going to be against Dark once again.